Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. Super excited to be having a interview today with my client and good friend Ivy. We're going to be chatting a little bit about her experience working with me at HealthNU. So super excited to have you on. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, excited to be here. It's a long time coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. So first off, please just tell us a little bit about like who you are, what you do, that whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Ivy. I am a mom above everything else. I'm a mom of two boys, 9 and 14, both like super, super active. So a lot of my time is eaten up by a lot of kids' sports. Professionally, I work for a bank and I'm in real estate lending. So that's me in a nutshell.
Amazing. Very busy. Lots going
Yes,
on. Okay, cool.
very.
So tell us about like where were you at in your fitness journey like before we started working together?
Um, I was a bit lost, I would say, in a sense that like I was working out. I felt like I was working out 5 days a week, and I was consistent there, but I had just kind of plateaued
Hmm.
in, my fitness. I didn't really know how to take it up to that next level. And I found out that I was going to the gym but I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really have a structure. And I also felt like my eating wasn't necessarily the best. So I didn't know what, counting your macros was or tracking your macros was. I didn't know the importance of certain things, obviously, that we'll get to probably on this call. So yeah, I just like I was good. I was active. I knew to show up to the gym every day, but in regards to like my fitness and stuff, I just felt like I had hit a plateau and really kind of needed to take it to that next level.
Amazing, cool. And what would you say, like, if you could walk us through what has been your physical or lifestyle transformation since we started?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've been working together for like 2.5 years
Hmm.
now, which is crazy. Like it's just flown by. Um, Physically, like I've gone through multiple cuts and multiple bulks with you, so there's been quite a bit of transformation in both avenues. But I will say, like my first cut with you back in 2023 when we started, like I lost close to 30 pounds. I don't even know how many inches. So that was like that first introduction to like, oh my gosh, this actually works.
Yeah,
Like, this is what I needed. I needed that guidance. And then obviously, my personal goals and we've continued to kind of connect on that. And, my goals have been to grow my glutes and but also stay lean and build muscle and become stronger. So, then we had a bulk where we gained some of that weight back. And even though it was scary originally when we first started to kind of gain that weight back, it was also really cool to see that as the weight was coming back, it was coming back differently than it ever had historically in my life. It was coming back as muscle, and it was coming back as strength, and that was really, really cool to see. So, yeah, that's kind of been the journey. We've obviously lost a lot of weight, then we've gained it back, then we've lost it again. And right now, as of today, I'm obviously in maintenance mode. But with that, where am I? I think I'm still 20 pounds lighter than when I started originally working with you. So
yeah, that's
yeah,
amazing.
it's been great.
And how would you say you notice your transformation in like your day to day life?
Oh my gosh. I think the biggest thing is just strength, and energy. Like those are obviously the things like physical is great and it's wonderful. And obviously your clothes fit better and you're more confident. And, I feel like you can just show up a little bit better in the world. But above everything, it's been my strength. It's been like being able to lift things that I struggled with
Yeah,
before. It's been my energy. Like I said, I'm a mom of two kids. Like I'm constantly on the go. So being able to keep up with them, being able to want to run with them, want to kick a ball around, want to compare my biceps to my 14-year-old.
yeah,
Yeah, like I would say really it is that piece and the mental behind it in I feel like I can do the hard stuff now because I've done it. So now when life throws other things at me, whether it's from work, whether it's, just other like kind of roadblocks.
Hmm.
I feel like because I've been able to do the hard stuff with this, I can kind of face a lot more things with strength and resiliency, that I probably would have kind of crumbled before.
Yeah, I totally agree. I find that like when you're fit, it just lays the foundation for everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. It's huge.
What would you say have been were like, a couple, two or three struggles that you struggled with on your own in terms of trying to get results before we worked together?
Yeah, I would say my diet was like probably my number
Yeah.
one, like my biggest one. And it's not that I ever ate bad. I don't think I was ever someone who ate a ton of, fast food or a ton of chocolate. Like I wasn't really eating bad. I felt like I was eating good, but I didn't know, I guess, the why
Hmm.
behind eating certain things. And I think I remember our initial call very well. And I said to you, I was like, I just need to learn how to eat so that I can also allow this to be a lifestyle for me versus like a quick fix. I think that was one of the things, again, before starting with you, where I would do these random cleanses and I would do these random things like take out carbs out of your diet and
Yeah.
like, the things you hear online and whatnot. Um, but it was always a short, like, yes, sure, on that cleanse, I might lose 5 to 7 pounds. But as soon as I was off that cleanse, I would gain it right back.
Gotcha.
So again, it really was just a eating piece that I would say was the biggest one. Also, my confidence in the gym before starting with you. I don't feel like I had a ton of structure. I felt like I was going in and, doing a lot of cardio. And then also in regards to like doing exercises, I wasn't necessarily comfortable with like my form. Am I doing this right? Again, what's the purpose of this exercise? Like the why behind all of the things that I was
Hmm.
doing, I would say was like the biggest missing piece for me. So I know that's probably two,
Yeah,
but I feel like
two's
it
fine. Yeah. And
encompasses,
and how do you
yeah.
feel like we helped you with that specifically?
I mean, obviously like you helped, like, I mean, you were always available, Shaun, and I think you're incredible. I've worked with previous trainers before, that really like showed up at the gym with me, but then once our hour was up, our hour and a half was up, they'd wipe their hands of me, right? And like that was really all that was given. And I would say with you, you've just really educated me, right? So whenever I had questions, like you would help me understand again the why behind it. So your expertise has obviously taken me to new levels. I would say also just the structure of your workouts.
Hmm.
I was also hesitant about doing this virtually, because historically I'd always done it in person with somebody. And I was like, how is he going to know if I'm, my form is off or whatnot, right? So you providing me with like a 12-week program that I could follow, that I could commit to, and then also providing me with feedback on my form through obviously submitting videos and that kind of stuff really helped me with, again, creating a structure, creating that confidence
Hmm.
so that when I do show up at the gym, I know what I'm doing, and I know how to do it without and making sure that I don't injure myself. Because I want to touch on that too. Like that was one of the things that I found prior to you. And I mean, even with you, right?
Yeah.
You kind of get injured here and there. I think it's just part of the journey. But I would say like prior to you, I was always like something was always hurting. Whereas with you, like you've been able to correct a lot of things in my form that has helped me not be injured as much, for example.
Yeah, as
So
much. That's
as much,
that's
yeah,
a part
yeah.
of it.
You still
Absolutely.
push
Of
yourself,
course, of
yeah.
course.
You're like, overdid
Yeah,
it, yeah.
totally. Okay, cool. And
Yeah.
what would you say life is like now? You've gone through the transformation, you've gone through the program. Like, how is life different for you now?
I think it's just like bled into my kids. I think that's like a big one for me. I mean, there's so many, and I'll touch on a few, but I would say like my kids has been the biggest one for me because they also now see the importance of like eating certain foods. Like when when I serve them dinner, they're like, how much protein is in here? Like, is there protein
Mhm.
in this meal, right? Like they take these things into consideration, and knowing that, I'm that positive role model for them where I'm setting that foundation for them early on at, 8, 9 years old or 11, 12 years old, however old Luca was when I started. I think that piece is really cool to see, and they can say like, "Mom does the hard things,
Yeah,
so we can also do the hard things," right? Like they push themselves, and they have pushed themselves even in their sports, because they see the mom is also in the gym, right? So I
definitely.
would say like that's a really, really big one. I also feel like it just bleeds into like again everything else in my life, right? And in my work, like with work, being mentally better and physically better has allowed me over the last couple of years working with you to have multiple promotions, right? Like in my job, and to show up
Mhm.
better and stronger and like want to achieve more in those avenues in my life.
Mhm.
um and it's also helped me just set boundaries in my personal relationships as well, whether it's um, romantic, whether it's friendships, things like that. It's just allowed me to want to surround myself with like just people that are of like similar mindset, that want to do well, that want to do good in all avenues of life. So yeah, I would say those are probably like the top three for
Yeah,
me.
I love that. I think that's such a big piece of it, of like being a good role model, but also like what you said, boundaries is like that self respect, and like that
Hmm.
standard that you hold for yourself. I think this bleeds into every other area of your life. So love that. What would you say has
For sure.
been like your favorite part of us working together?
Oh gosh. Outside of our friendship that
Yeah,
we've also developed, like that has been really cool. I've really loved the community actually that
nice.
you've created. Again, I can talk about the physical and all the things that I've already touched on this call, but I would say like I love the community of women that like you've brought
Hmm.
together. And everyone is constantly just like encouraging each other. It's such like a positive place to be. Um, and I think that's like been my favorite thing to see. I remember when I first joined, I was like, I might not be very active in here. Like,
Yeah.
you're a little bit skeptical. You're like, who are these people? And you're a little bit intimidated. And then you put yourself out there and you start making connections, and you build friendships, and you build, again, that community where people have they get your life, and
Yeah.
they encourage that positive uh like those positive lifestyle changes where maybe you don't get them in other avenues in your life from other people in your life because they don't necessarily get it.
Hmm.
So I would say definitely the community has been one of my favorite bits that like you create, and is very unique to like your company.
Amazing. Thank you. Okay, cool. And like
Hmm.
for anyone who is struggling right now, maybe not getting the results they want, like what is like one thing that they could start doing today that would like have a big impact on their results that you've learned?
Prioritize your sleep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's been a big one for me, and that's also something I learned through you, right? Because I would pride myself before in, showing up at the gym on 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Like it was some kind of like accomplishment. Like, oh, look at me, I can do the hard stuff with like, no sleep. And I remember one of the like first times I think I had like an injury, or I don't know what happened, but you're like, you're not working out for the week. Like you're just gonna chill, you're gonna rest, but most of all, like I need you to focus on sleep above all things. And prioritizing my sleep has been like huge because again, when you're mentally rested and your body is physically rested, then the rest of the day after you wake up does feel a little bit easier to manage. So that would really be my thing, is just to like again, number one, and it's such like a base,
Hmm.
I think, but probably something a lot of people do neglect, is to like just start on trying to get that 8 hours of sleep every single night consistently, because it absolutely, again, will,
Yeah, so
bleed into
underrated.
all the other. Yeah, it's so underrated. And that was, again, something I just learned through you.
Yeah, cool. And if you were to see like if someone was thinking about joining, maybe they're on the fence, what would you say to them?
I don't know if this is a trademark, but like just do it. Like it's very Nike.
Yeah.
I was skeptical. I think like you and I had talked for a little while before I was like, okay, fine. Because I was like, no, I'm good on my own. I'm going to the gym,
Hmm.
whatever. And I think like you just have to bite the bullet and just actually do it. Like commit, do it because you're going to wish like 6 months from now, you're going to wish that you started 6 months ago, essentially. So really like that's just it. And I know like again, and I'll touch on this because I think this is a big one. I know financially it can feel like a lot for people, right? You're like, oh my gosh, like that's a lot of money. Um, but you're literally investing in like your lifespan, your strength, your confidence. Like there's so many other things in life that you just aimlessly spend money on without even thinking about it, whether it's a quick Amazon purchase or whatever. Um, and we really neglect ourselves. So I will say, like, I know that piece can be hard for people to like be like, oh, that's steep. Again, depending on what your budget is. But I would say you will never regret it. So just do it. And again, I promise you'll see the benefits and commit. Like once you do it though, like actually commit and listen to what Shaun is saying because it works. There's proof in the pudding.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're looking
Yeah.
great and you've gotten so strong and just crushing life. So love that for you.
Mhm.
So thank you
Yeah.
very much for taking the time to be on here. Super appreciate it. And yeah, let's just keep going.
Of course. Happy to be here. Thanks,
Yeah,
Shaun.
thank you.